So, you've picked up the vintage collection Emperor's Throne Room and you're not quite sure what to do with it. I can help. Hey Star Wars fans, welcome back to another video from All Things Star Wars Considered. As always, I'm your host Doug, and today we're going to take a look at the Vintage Collection Emperor's Throne Room, which is very deceiving because there is no room to be had. I picked this up a couple of years ago, and I was very disappointed, and I'm sure most people that have purchased this will feel the same way. They'll say the same thing. But I have a few ideas that I can kind of pass along to you to help you out as you put together a more comprehensive Emperor's Throne Room. So when we return, we're going to get into the review of that, and then I'm going to offer some tips and tricks. It's going to cost you a few bucks if you want to make this look halfway decent, but it's well worth it. So when we return, we're going to start looking at the box. We'll unbox it. We'll show you what's inside. Spoiler alert, not a whole heck of a lot, but we will get into all that, and that's coming up next, so stick around. Okay, now let's get into this. Now, like I spoke of last week when I was doing the review of the Endor Bunker, the Vintage Collection pays homage to Kenner and the way their stylings were back in the late 70s, early 80s. So as such, we have the Star Wars Return of the Jedi logo with the single racetrack piping around the outer edge of the box. Down in the bottom corner, we have the Kenner logo, which I always loved. The Emperor's Throne Room with this nice image of Luke and Vader battling aboard the Death Star 2 while the Emperor and his throne looks on. At the top right-hand corner, warning, choking hazard, small parts, not for children under 3 years old. And of course, there is a lightsaber hilt that's supposed to rest on the arm of the throne, some hands, his cane. So yes, there's some small parts that a child could choke on. Obviously, they're the 4+. Down in the lower left-hand corner, we have the Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker figures not included. Yeah, it would have been nice if they did. It would have made this a little bit better of a value. Now let's turn here. We have a really cool image of the Emperor with the Force lightning coming from his hands. Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Emperor's Throne Room. And what does this have to say for itself? Rising from the North Pole of the second Death Star is a 100-story isolation tower reserved for the Emperor, from which he oversees the battle station's operations. The tower's 4 spokes house a throne room, Palpatine's private chambers, and a vault reserved for Sith artifacts. This throne room was the site of a climactic showdown between Jedi and Sith at the Battle of Endor. Very well said. Now we come to the back of the box. Like I always say, it's almost like the front. They just add the Vintage Collection logo, the Disney logo, and the Hasbro logo. We get to this other end of the box, and we have another cool image of the Emperor now standing alongside his throne, kind of motioning to Vader and Luke as they battle aboard the Death Star 2. Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Emperor's Throne Room, and a bunch of random stuff. It does say that this came out in 2021. The top and the bottom have nothing, and when we get into the unboxing, you'll see exactly why. So let's get into this so you can see what's inside the box. And just a little spoiler alert, it's kind of disappointing, but we'll turn this into something, don't worry. Okay, let's get into this. Now, I was showing you the top and the bottom, and they have nothing on it. And the reason they have nothing on it is because this box isn't really a box, it's a sleeve. So I've already removed the tape. So you just slide this, and then it just comes off like that. And then this folds down, and I'm not a fan, but it folds down to create this kind of this hallway effect. You have these consoles here as backdrops, this weird lighting, some railings. You can kind of see the windows a little bit, but it's weird. I wish it would have folded down this way to create more of a square than a rectangle, because the action is in front of the Emperor, not to really the side of him. Everything behind him is space. So, you have the window and just space. So why did you need Vader and Luke fighting to the side of the Emperor? They could have figured out a way for it to fold out. Then you would have had a square, and I think that might have worked a little bit more. So we have this tray here underneath where the throne sits, and it kind of opens up, and there's where all your accessories are stored. So I will pull it out, and I will show you. You have the two hands, which are interchangeable, and these have the lightning coming out of the fingertips. Kind of cool. And then you have Luke's lightsaber hilt, and then you have the Emperor's cane, his walking cane. So those stored neatly in this little compartment underneath the throne. Nothing awful, but just blah. So the coolest part of this entire thing, obviously, is the Emperor and his throne. Now, got this plastic thing. Let me see if I can kind of slide him out so I can kind of show you him. Yeah, he'll slide out. So the good thing about this Emperor is the very neutral pose. The neutral expression, I should say, not the pose. I mean, the kind of articulated, so you can kind of maneuver him in a bunch of poses, but it's this expression, and let's do that so you can kind of see it. It's just very, for lack of a better word, neutral. Because, let's see, I think I have the other Emperor figure close by. I do. Excellent. So we have this one, and I'm trying to get him in there so you can see. Look at the teeth. This is him kind of when he's electrocuting Luke at the end. Very scene specific. So it's a great figure. It's the same figure. It's just a different head sculpt. It would have been nice with this figure if they could have given you two heads so that you could have recreated either expression. But by not doing that with this, it forced your hands to buy this set. And I can't remember what I quite paid for this set. I know it came out in 2021. I want to say somewhere around maybe $39.99. It's possible it could have been a little bit more. I know it wasn't less. But you were buying that for the unique figure, the throne, and then, of course, the window that sits in front. So, yeah. And, oh, by the way, this cardboard is all on gloss. It's not matte. So when you try to put lights on it, you can see it. See where my fingers are pointing? Over here, it kind of... It shows a glare, so it's just not ideal. If they could have done this in matte, it would have been a little bit better, and if they could have had it open outwards instead of side to side, it would have been better as well. But I think if you have a little bit of creativity in your bones, like I've said in the past, if you want to spend a little bit of money and you want to put a little energy into this, you can turn this particular throne room, air quotes, behind me, into something. So when we come back, I will talk a little bit about what we're about to do, and I will show you what I was able to turn this into. So stick around for that. Okay, before we get to the finished display, I did pull the Emperor out of his plastic prison. I wanted to show you that. And, yeah, looks pretty neat, I think. That neutral expression really works for this particular iteration. The throne itself, this removable pedestal comes off. I don't know why, but it does. If you want to kind of pull him out and kind of see it. Nothing over the top here, but well done. Some details on the control panels on each side of the armrests. Got that nice purple cushioning. We got some cool stuff around the headrest. The headrest doesn't come off right now. Okay, and then the back, very simplistic. So, and figure's not awful. It's not great, but that expression on his face, the very neutral expression, definitely works throughout the entire throne room scene. If you're looking for figures to populate this, you don't need a whole heck of a lot. You've got the Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. You have the Death Star 2 Vader. But any of the Vaders will work, especially all the new ones. The New Hope one would work. I mean, yeah, there's specific details in each movie's costume that would make it specific to that particular movie, but who's going to pick up on it? I think I've got Dark Times Vader that I'm using, and you really can't tell. I mean, unless you go over it with a fine-tooth comb. And then, of course, a couple of Emperor's Royal Guards to oversee the whole duel. So when we return, I'm going to show you the throne room, and I will get into a little bit of how I approached it, and I hope you enjoy it. So stick around. That's coming up next. Okay, and here you have it. So we have the two Emperor's Royal Guards at the foot of the stairs, keeping guard as Vader leads Luke up to meet with the Emperor. Now, as you get to the top, you can see I have put together this entire throne room. I would like to thank, I'd like to thank Hole in the Ground Studios or Productions for these computer consoles. I had to put them together, sand them, add the stickers and paint them, but they're great. And then I attached them to some metal tubing, and then they continue on through the ceiling or the floor into the lower consoles on the first level, and that's pretty neat. You can see that. So Vader and Luke are heading up to see the Emperor, and let's see how that goes. Okay. And here's another scene depicting Luke's conversation with the Emperor, in which the Emperor does everything in his power to get under Luke's skin. He says to him, "Oh, I'm quite sure the shield generator will be quite operational when your friends arrive." Of course, Luke says, "Your overconfidence is your weakness. Your faith in your friends is yours." So obviously this continues, and eventually he does break Luke down, and then Luke uses the Force to obtain his lightsaber in an attempt to strike the Emperor down. Okay, and here's the actual duel. Now, like I said, the Emperor has tested Luke's patience. Luke has finally succumbed to his anger, and through the Force has reached out for his lightsaber in an attempt to strike the Emperor down. Obviously, Vader is not about to let his master be destroyed, so he deflects the attack with his own lightsaber. Obviously, the two battle. We know how this ends up. Luke eventually takes off Vader's hand, looks down at his own hand, and realizes he does not want to become what his father has. So he throws his lightsaber down and tells the Emperor, "You have failed, Your Highness. I'm a Jedi like my father before me." So there you have it. So, the Emperor is none too pleased. "So be it, Jedi," he says. And then you know what happens from there. Okay, and here's an additional shot. I was getting ready to wrap things up, and then I realized I've never actually put the Force Lightning hands on this Emperor, and I wanted to see how it looked, and I felt that if I didn't show you guys, it would be kind of an incomplete video. So I think this works. This is obviously depicting the scene in which the Emperor says, "So be it, Jedi. If you will not be turned, then you will be destroyed. You have paid the price for your lack of vision." Of course, Luke begs and pleads for his life. "Father, please." And obviously, at the last moment, Vader comes to his senses, hoists the Emperor up, and tosses him down that reactor shaft, thus redeeming himself. So, I hope you enjoyed the additional shot. I think the Force hands look pretty cool. I think for this particular shot, to make it a little bit more screen accurate, you might want to use the the vintage collection carded emperor, the one with that scene specific snarling face with the teeth showing, it would look a little bit more accurate. But I didn't open that one, and this is close enough. So I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you on the next one. Okay, I was ready to wrap this whole thing up, and then I realized the whole point of this video was to give you some tips and tricks about how to make this Emperor's Throne Room a little bit better. And I really didn't get into it too much. So I'm going to do that just quickly here. I don't want to drag this on too long. But what I'll do is I'll leave some of the tips in the description. So if you want to check that out at the end of the video, you can. Now, obviously, I mentioned these. And you can kind of see the other one there. Now, I purchased those at Hole in the Ground Productions. I will leave a description, or I will leave a link for them in the description. Now, if you do not want to buy this set, you can purchase also the throne for the Emperor at Hole in the Ground as well. You'll have to paint it, but, you know, it will suffice. And you could just use your vintage collection Emperor, and you can put this whole thing together without actually buying the set. Now, we have this viewport right here, this view screen. Now, I have two of them. I actually built these from scratch. Now, if you do not want to do that, you can also purchase those at Hole in the Ground as well. They're all kind of put together. You'll just have to kind of sand them, do a couple of touch-ups, and then paint them. But it would work. And I think they're about 25 bucks a piece. Like I've said throughout, this isn't going to be necessarily cheap. But if you want to turn this into something, you can. As far as these, oh, by the way, that's the paint I've used. Dark blue gray. And a lot of the accents are just a straight edge and black magic marker. Now, these computer screens, and there's 4 of them, are all handmade as well. You can buy something similar at Hole in the Ground as well, or if not, you can just kind of build these from scratch like I did. You watch the movie and kind of try to duplicate what you see on screen. Okay, as far as this detail, now I actually made one of these, and here it is. This is kind of raw, but I made one of these and then I duplicated it 4 times because that's the cool thing about this. You make one computer screen or computer monitor and then make 3 others. Make one of these, make 3 others. Buy these viewports at Hole in the Ground, buy 2. And then buy this, buy 2. Grab this, buy 2. Now, I'm sorry I'm kind of rushing through this because I just didn't want to drag this on too long. This detail on the bottom level, those are popsicle sticks. I just painted them white, and then I kind of staggered them, kind of cut them, and just created this different kind of pattern and just glued them on the wall. Now, finally, we're going to talk about the stairs just briefly. The stairs are 10 inches long, or 10 inches wide, right? I've actually just made 3 stringers. And I know it took me a long time to do, so it's going to take me even longer to explain it. But if anybody knows anything about carpentry, which I did before I was in the post office, I actually cut 3 stringers out of foam core, and then I actually took each tread, and those were 3/4 of an inch wide by 10 inches long. Obviously, it's a 1/4 inch thick. And then I actually just took a black magic marker and kind of colored the exposed foam. And then I took a black magic marker and I went along the edge to kind of give it some definition. I glued each one on. I actually created a little skirt board on each side, and then I just attached them to the second level. So I know there's a lot of information there, and I apologize for that, but I will put some of this information in the description. If you have additional questions, please reach out to me. I'm sorry for dragging this on, but I just wanted to give you the tips and tricks I spoke of. So have a great day, and we'll see you on the next one. Well, I hope you enjoyed the review, unboxing, and display of the Vintage Collection Emperor's Throne Room. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit of time, money, energy to kind of turn, not much into something. But I always feel that if you really enjoy a particular piece and you want to enhance it, then sometimes a little bit of energy isn't such a bad thing. And I felt in this case that the Emperor's Throne Room scene really deserved a little bit more than what Hasbro kind of gave us. So I hope you enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun putting it together. I'm not going to lie. It was stressful. It was lengthy. And, it's not going to be something you do overnight. But if you want to put the energy into it and spend a little bit of money, you can turn this into something. So I hope you enjoyed it. We are going to move on and start to wrap things up. Before we do so, though, I'd like to thank everybody for the continued support of my humble little All Things Star Wars Considered YouTube channel. I've been having a ball with this channel, and it's very rewarding. I will say this: the response I've received has been very positive. I don't get many comments where people are kind of, giving me a hard time, which is very welcome. I kind of thought when I started this channel that maybe some people would take a shot here or there, and you know what? I'm about to 500 subscribers, and I know in the grand scheme of things that's not a whole heck of a lot, because I look at YouTube channels and people have thousands upon thousands of subscribers, and that's a lot of pressure for them. So, but I kind of figured along the way I'd kind of, ruffle some feathers, and so far so good. I haven't. So the response I've been getting from you guys is very positive. It's very it's humbling. So I appreciate it. Having said all this, if you haven't done so, I please ask you to hit the subscribe button so I can continue to bring you that valuable Star Wars content we've all come to know and love. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. That helps the channel as well. If you have a question, a comment, some input, please leave it in the comment section, and I'll get back to each and every one of you. It's my favorite part of the channel. I want to tell everybody, I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next video. And as always, may the Force be with you. There's an old man living cold and poor. Feels like there's nothing to give. There's a young boy crossing by his path, reflected how he lives.